Right, it's the psychology bit of my thing. Right. So aerial cartwheels, fast ballistic skill, and it's performed in a closed environment, and it's self-paced as there's like no other players making determine when you're gonna start the movement. And aerial cartwheels classified on the gross continuum of muscles because we've got to use like large muscles like your rectus femoris. Rectus femoris and like biceps femoris and stuff like that. And then feedback during the movement will be internal feedback as it applies to kinesis. So it's like you get the feel of the movement. So like through the movement, when you go up to it, if you know that your lift isn't high enough, you know that you're going to have to push more off your front leg. You know you're going to have to push more off your front leg to like get back up from that, so you're going to get some height still. Or for example, at the end of it, if you're not high enough, then you know your landing's going to be low, so you know you're going to have to lift your chest up faster because you're going to be closer to the floor and gravity will be pulling you down. So you have to use more power to pull your chest up afterwards. And then so schema theory I want to speak about. There's 4 aspects to schema theory, which are knowledge of initial conditions, knowledge of response specifications, and knowledge of sensory consequences, and knowledge of movement outcome. Okay. So knowledge of initial conditions, it's like whether she's previously experienced a similar situation or a similar environment, which you will have done, because as a performer you'll be able to like be in that situation like more than once, or obviously it's not her first time because she's like 16, 17, so she will have been practicing for a long time to get where she is. And then knowledge of response specification is like having the knowledge of knowing what to do in a specific situation. So if a run up's slow, she's know that she's got to bring back up from that with a high lift, and then pushing off the ground, and put in more effort to like save the skill. And them two together are called recall schema, as that it stores information about the production of generalised movement and it initiates movement. And 2 is also general motor program. The second bit of schema. And then knowledge of sensory consequences is the 3rd part of schema, and this bit just applies to what I was speaking about before about kinesis and internal feedback. So it's how the skill felt. And then knowledge of sensory outcome is how the outcome is and how you feel about the outcome. So the responses from coaches and the responses from your internal feedback about how it went. I don't care. 4? I've done 4. Miss Gibson.
What?
Yeah. So it's like knowing what's going to happen. And then them 2 together called recognition schema, which control movement through execution and evaluates effectiveness of performance. And develop schema by repeating the skill, so the more you repeat it, the more it's likely to be stored in long-term memory and remembered by muscle memory. And also teachers can illustrate where schema can be transferred to other things. So for example, in the aerial cartwheel, you can transfer that to aerial walkovers or just regular cartwheels because it's got like the same basic principle to it. Or in like different surroundings, so like in different gymnasiums with different number of performers around you. So my performer's in the associative stage of learning because she performs hard skills and she puts a lot of effort into it, but the performance is like a bit disjointed because it's not perfect, so got a lot of things to work on. Like probably 5 times out of 10 she'll get it right, but she can only get into the autonomous stage by practicing.
Practice.
Yeah, and she's got to have the mental state to do it as well. Guidance for the skill can be used, but it can only be mechanical because, manual. Because it's a fast ballistic skill. No, you can't do mechanical for that. No, you can't. So yes, it's got to be manual because it's a fast ballistic skill, and the only way you can do it is by standing on the side about 20 metres away from the gymnast, standing on the side that they cartwheel on, so that whichever leg they put down first, and then you just hook your arm into their hip as they lift, so you've got the support there, and then they know you're there, and then as they do it, they will, like, you use your arm to sort of like hoik them up, and then they get that height, and then they can feel the kinesis of what it feels like to come down from a height. But then if you do it like too much, like if they start to depend on you, then they're going to lose motivation when it comes to doing it on their own, and they'll sort of get into a comfort zone. Yeah, so it's just can increase confidence, but to a point it can decrease confidence.